I'm happy. I wasn't unhappy prior, but here we are.
Good now.
Yep.
Hello.
I feel
everyone.
like you guys are so jammed. That's funny.
We
All right,
really
sorry,
are.
go ahead.
Like,
We've never had anybody in the studio with us. This is so exciting.
I just met Zach, and I'm like, let's hug.
Let's get close.
Yep.
This is great. We have Zach Green here, and we are also joined virtually by Chris Keefer. These guys run BeAlive Studios. This is a production company that specializes in creating captivating content centered around outdoor activities, adventure sports, lifestyle, impact. Well, what are the three
conservation?
columns?
We got inspiration, exploration. We've got we inspire, we protect, and we explore. Those are our main three tenets.
All right.
I do that too. I'm a teacher, and I feel like that is also my goal in life. I'm not 2 feet tall for those of you watchers. What's happening?
Zach is the president. His credits include Survivor, Alone, American Chopper, Top Shot. This guy's been around. Okay. Chris is the CEO. Outdoor enthusiast. His credits include Backcountry Quest, Dropped, which you did with your brother Casey. Is that right?
Yeah.
Very exciting. And you can see all their work. Go BeAlive.com, riversairlife.com. I encourage you to go there.
Linked at the bottom. Right.
I'll start with this. Survivor, Alone, Dropped. It seems like I'm noticing a theme here for you guys. You get a kick out of working in and telling stories in unforgiving environments. What is wrong with you?
What's wrong with us? We live in Montana. But go.
Yeah, I think we were talking about this a little earlier. I think there's a lot of gratification in going into a harsh, locale, harsh location, coming back with something beautiful, tangible, a story. I think the idea of earning your turns. I take that same philosophy when telling stories. I don't know. I like being in the hard places. It's just it's always been a fascination for me.
I think that's challenge.
Yeah, I think that's something that Chris and I have always seen eye to eye on. I think it was one of the things that connected us in the beginning.
Joe and I like easy places, which is probably why we got married. But yes, Chris, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, I agree with Zach. The wild places are kind of what, for me, it's kind of a disconnect to reconnect for me. So whenever we're out there, it's like the first time the plane flies away, it's like the most bittersweet and amazing thing. But it's also like, wow, okay, now we have no food and this is what we got to do. But it gets real quiet, and it's just something about that. And then being able to tell the story is just a bonus.
But you seek out that moment of sheer panic and
yeah. Do you have that cat thing? There's like a parasite that people get from cats. It makes them take risks.
Did
you guys have cats growing up? Anyway, no, there seriously is this crazy. Anyway, I'll move on to the questions that Joe has laid out for me. That wasn't one of them. So an offshoot.
Did you get brain poisoning at some point along the way? That's the question.
Listen, I think it's great. I think half the people in Montana have that similar, type personality, like risk takers. People that are like, I'm going to climb this mountain at midnight in the dark with a headlamp and just a rock face.
Yeah, well, it's all about pushing limits.
It is.
And I think people here, they share that common sort of mentality of pushing limits in their sports, right? Chris and I push limits in that capacity, and you'll have to talk to him about his, he's super well known in the hunt space, and the stuff that he does there is incredible. We just apply that same sort of methodology to television production.
Kind of like an ultra marathoner a little bit.
A little bit. Okay. The harder the location, the more gratifying it is to come back with a great story.
Still contend something broken inside of you.
It's okay. I will take pictures of where you guys go. So an offshoot of BeAlive is Rivers Are Life, which is in itself a multi-pronged storytelling effort, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
So how would you describe it to people who need to be spoon-fed, like Joe? He said us, but I'm saying just Joe. I know how to.
Chris, go.
Yeah, so it's basically, it is a platform built around protection. It's around protecting the waterways, and it's very, very, very important for us to kind of protect the places we play. And Rivers Are Life is one of those platforms where we bring awareness to those river heroes and those conservation heroes that are doing incredible things out there, the actual boots on the ground. And we're able to kind of take our storytelling capabilities and create impact through that awareness and bring on partners that can support those NGOs and heroes that are doing it. And it was like an idea that kind of came out of thin air, but also there was a very cool story around it all. And next thing you know, we're telling stories around the globe, and there's a lot of people that are affected by it. And it's just been an incredible journey to see that entire brand take off and that entire film series and where it's gone. It's in two short years, it's pretty amazing. So.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, we just celebrated our 2-year anniversary in July, so that just happened. And so, to Chris's point, we wanted to take all these years, these decades of production experience, and we've been doing that in the entertainment space, but try to apply that to something that can do some good, make some impact as well. And
it sounds like you've kind of just taken all the walls away. Like you don't have any limits as far as where you can go, what stories you can tell, what format you tell it in.
Yeah, I mean, I think the limitation is, frankly, it'll be financial. If money were no object, the amount of stories and the amount of impact we could do would be limitless. I think what we're able to do, we're able to research and identify these folks, the people, the organizations, the river heroes, as Chris called them. That's what we call them, that are doing the actual boots on the ground work on their corner of the world, their river, and we're able to highlight their work and get them some support, whether that's through our partners, whether it's NGO partner data, value in kind, good, hard goods, those things that'll help further their mission. The way we do that, because our part in this is branding and storytelling. And that's really what it is. We're trying to do for rivers what's being done for oceans, from an entertainment perspective and from an awareness perspective, because the rivers are such a valuable part of life on Earth to every living being. Yeah. And they're just undervalued, underappreciated.
Well, thank you. We are river enjoyers.
Us landlocked states.
Yeah. Former guide and now just like lazy river rafters.
So your TV career started when you were in Kenya working with elephants?
You just made that up.
It's not exactly your normal route. It's not USC Film School. But explain how that worked.
I came into this business in a very roundabout way. Again, Chris and I share similar weird roundabout ways of getting into this industry. Different, but strange all the same. Yeah, I'm an archaeology major. That was my degree, environmental studies as well. I spent about a year living in Kenya and Tanzania. As part of that adventure, I was doing wildlife management. So I had an opportunity to work with some herd of elephants in northern Kenya. And as part of that, I was assigned to take this group of people from National Geographic around for a week to follow this herd that I'd been tracking. And all of a sudden, I'm like, a light bulb moment. I'm like, that's a life. I'd never picked up a camera. I knew nothing about storytelling. Wasn't a world that I knew anything about. But after spending a week with these folks and realizing that was a world that existed, I was like, that's what I'm going to do. And that was maybe I was 19, 20. And here we are.
Yeah. A lot of us take a little longer than that.
Oh, I figured it out. It was a funny thing.
It's the Indiana Jones path to TV success.
Totally. Yeah, that's incredible.
I put my fedora down and I picked up the camera.
That's a crazy backstory.
Pretty handy with the bullwhip.
Yeah. All those film school nerds really didn't know what they were doing.
He teed it up for you, Chris, but talk about your path a little bit.
Yeah, so it's similar in the fact that I was kind of doing something completely different, but I was actually I played hockey my whole in college and throughout, that was just what I did, and I was done with that, and I was like, I just want to go back to enjoying things I didn't get a chance to do because I played for so long, so much that I was like, I want to get back out, I want to hunt, I want to fish. My grandfather, taught me that when I was a kid, and so I actually started guiding. And I was guiding all over the place and spent a lot of time in Michigan and just northern Canada, places where I could just get out and do that. And a television crew happened to come in and was guiding, and they were like, hey, and I guided them, and they were like, did you ever think about doing something in front of the camera? And I was like, nope, I just like being behind the camera. And then he called me and gave me a free hunt to Alaska if I filmed it. And I was like, okay, I'll go. So I ended up taking a camera. And I didn't know what I was doing. I was just running on auto, and my brother went with me, and we went to Adak Island out in the middle of the Aleutian chain. and we just lived out there for like 10 days and we filmed it, and we were like, oh, and so it was kind of like that very, very, very first version of like an Alone style thing with my brother back in the day. And it went off big and just kind of spiraled from there. And we started to do a show for a little bit. And then one night we were drinking whiskey and somehow we decided to do Dropped and no food. And that turned into what it was. And that spun us into where we are today. So, I mean, it's just right place, right time, recognizing things, and just kind of like, it's like Zach, when that Geo shows up, they're like, what is that? I didn't even know I could do that. It was the same thing like in my life. I was like, I didn't even
it's
know
a
that
little
existed as a career.
different because you got discovered. Yeah. Somebody was like, oh, you got talent, boy. You need to be in front of the camera with Zach. He was just like, I want to do that.
And they sent him to like one of the most unforgiving places on the planet, the Aleutian Islands, which is like, if you, Alaska, it is an amazing place. But talk about into the frying pan. I mean, that is something else. It's a special place.
Legendary hunter George Mann. Are you familiar?
No.
Out of Alabama.
He was in a lot of magazines and has like a museum now and all kinds of stuff. But he used to hunt around the Aleutian Islands a lot, and he killed a polar bear with a bow at like close range.
The guy that found me, if you will, he went bankrupt 2 years later, so probably wasn't a good bet for him out of the gate. So let's be honest. And I think he sent me to the wolves right out. Like let's see if he can make it. But it's all good.
You were his gift to the world.
Yeah. And Chris, you've had a lot of close calls in your life, correct? Like you have had animal attacks, car accidents, all kinds of scrapes with death. Can you tell us, if you can think of one, the craziest one? Yeah,
it's the inner cat in me because I've got 9 lives, so it's nice. What it is. See, it's in there somewhere. But no, the craziest one. I mean, I've had run-ins with bears, lots of them. I had a wolf attack that was unprovoked. That is very rare. That doesn't happen. That was wrong place, wrong time for both of us. Fortunately, I had a Glock. He did not. But I think the worst one was the car accident. I got hit by a truck at about 62 miles an hour, and I was dead for a bit, and I'm now alive. But I don't want to give away the ending, but I'm here. But yeah, that was bad. That one, but that's kind of where the BeAlive mantra started. And I always say this to Zach. I get so mad because I have the tattoo that says BeAlive, and it's so off-brand. It's not even the right logo. It's 2 words. Oh, no. It's terrible. So it drives me nuts. As a brand guy, it drives me nuts. So that's what it was. Is I kind of had a wake-up call. Yeah, I kind of had a wake-up call at that point. It was like, be alive. Time to be alive because I've been dead once.
You can add an R to it and you have be a liver, and that's a whole other brand that you can start. Kick it
Joe,
off.
Nobody asked you what made you end up in Michigan with all the cool places you've traveled
everything you've been through, and then you put yourself through living in Michigan.
Hey, Michigan's great.
Yeah, Michigan. Michigan. It's because I went to college here, and that's where I was at. And I ended up meeting my wife in college, and then stuck around here for a bit, and somehow, some way, ended up with a business partner here through all this fun stuff. And this is where we took up roots in Midland, Michigan, which is we always say it has a white picket fence around it, 40,000 people. It's just one of those places. So this is where I've been. But I am jealous, trust me, of all the times that I'm on a call with Zach, and he's like, "Hey, did you see this?" And he turns it around in the mountain. I'm like, I have to come out there more. So,
and you visit Montana. You're certainly familiar. All right, I want each of you we're gonna take turns here to tell me a personal experience that you've had that motivates you to do this important work that you're doing. As opposed to making easy money doing TV shows about motorcycles, Zach. Why hang that up? You had the cheese, right? You had a nice cake sort of gig, and now you're doing this, which is arguably way more difficult. What was the personal experience that led you to that decision?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think I've always had a passion for protecting the places we play. Like, I mean, even going back to my days at university, I mean, the other degree I have is in environmental studies. So the John Muirs of the world, the Edward Abbeys, the Rachel Carsons, like those were always sort of heroes of mine. The idea of travel and adventure was a motivating factor in my early days. And now a little older, a little wiser, a little more banged up. Like I've recognized that in order for anyone in this world to enjoy these places, see these places, to experience wildlife in a way that, it's not in a zoo, it's unprotected, it's just in the wild. Those places need to be protected. And so I think it's always been there, but I can tell you that there was one moment early in my career where I was learning, I was filming something about anacondas, and I was in the Llanos of Venezuela, and I was shuffling barefoot through knee-deep brackish water as far as the eye could see, until I bumped into an anaconda, and then you'd stop and you can't see the anaconda down below.
Boy, if I had a nickel.
A nickel for every time.
Like with your feet and shins? What are we bumping into?
With your feet.
Okay.
Yeah, with your feet. And then you'd hold up your hand and you'd wave over the wildlife biologist, the expert, the anaconda expert, and he'd shuffle over from about 100 meters away. And so you're sitting there with your feet against the anaconda for 5 minutes. He gets to you and he reaches down, grabs the head, and it coils up and then scares the absolute crap out of you.
Sure.
But it was all about protecting the wildlife and protecting the Llanos and protecting this massive ecosystem. And it's always stuck with me. And that series was a lot about that. But in that moment, I was like, I was living, I was experiencing something that most don't get to experience, and doing it in a way that was protecting wildlife and an ecosystem with people that are smarter than me, that know how to do it. And it's always stuck with me. Like those moments, that type of moment. I've had a lot of those over the years.
Okay. It's not when you're wearing the bullet ant mitts and got your hands all bitten up. He's done that. He's done that crazy thing.
Too.
All right. How about you, Chris? Can you top anaconda shuffle feet touching?
I don't know if I can do the shuffle of the feet touching. I think for me, it was really, I've been a serial entrepreneur my whole life. Like I've actually, started businesses, and just like, I've always been an entrepreneur, and I've always been creating business. Like I'm never satisfied. There's a journey. Like I'm always pushing the next, like I get to a pinnacle and then I'm like, I feel like there's more. And Zach and I align a lot on that. And I think over the course of my career, being on Dropped, having lived a year off grid, I know how much that means to me. And there was like this second phase of, if we're going to do content, can we do it with purpose? Like there has to be like this next level of purpose to it that could actually change lives. Cause we were just kind of like, we had done a lot, and we've done 13 shows on these channels. And like you said, we've had the ability to produce amazing stuff. But after a while, it's like, you're just a cog in the wheel. And it was like, how do we challenge ourselves? And when we first started doing research on this project, there was a stat where it was, don't quote me on this, but it was like 10 rivers are responsible for over 85% of the plastic in the ocean in the world or something. And I was like, we've since debunked it, just by the way. Okay. But it was like 10 rivers. And I was, and Zach and I are talking, and we're like, there's 10 rivers within like 15 miles of here. Like that's insane. And so there was that moment for me that I was like, that is such a huge thing that we could tackle. And that became kind of that inspiration and that passion to protect. And so I don't know, I guess the land has given me so much that who's going to speak for the land if we don't? So that was kind of one of those things that, I don't know, just there's something behind it now and it has meaning.
Okay.
So,
You're the Lorax of the rivers and the land.
Not as good as anacondas, but it's there. It's there. It's good.
I will say that moment when we heard that statistic, we looked at each other and immediately it was like, that's it. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to build around. It was about. It was actually a really incredible moment. In fact, Rivers Are Life was originally called 10 Rivers, and then Rivers. It felt a little narrow. Mm-hmm. We broadened it out to rivers, kind of across the globe. But it was really one of those kind of life-changing moments, I think.
Zach, your wife helps out with the programming, correct? And Chris, your wife has a podcast, an adorable BeAlive podcast called Listen, Here's the Thing. Y'all got a real family operation going on. Do I have to marry in to work with you, or you could also marry Joe, a great chef
we definitely have our fair share of folks that we're related to in the business, but I think more than anything, like they've each had their own storied career, right? You know, Kate, she heads up our programming. You know, she's had her own 20-year career in the industry. Yep. And when we were looking to fill that spot, you know, we were looking to fill this, you know, this programming spot, head of programming. She had never participated in the company. She was sitting, we were in Michigan at the time. And I went to her and said, listen, we've got this role. Before I go out of house, I go look for it. Is this something you'd be interested in? And Rivers Are Life had become this thing by then. And it really needed someone with her expertise. And she was sitting right there. It was like such an easy thing. And she and I looked at each other and go, we're going to be working together. This could be dicey. And, but it's been great. It's worked out really well.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Katie's amazing in her own right.
Yeah. I work with my spouse. I don't love it.
It's kind of the same story on that side. It's like Katie was sitting on the back porch as I was drinking wine one night. And I was like, you know, our finance gal had moved on and was like, we need a short-term fix. And I was saying all these things, and she had done that and was sitting across from me like, you know, I can do that. And I was like, you know, I never really thought about that. And then she kind of had turned into, you know, she kind of leads on the operations side, helps with our COO, and all the behind the scenes stuff that she does is amazing for everybody. And then this podcast come out of nowhere. And it was one of those things where it was like, we needed an audience in that space, and those two fit the bill. And we were like, go ahead and be you. And it's done tremendous in the first 3 weeks it's out there. It's actually outperforming half the stuff that we're doing. But when we launched, there was a lot of Keefer stuff going on. I was trying not to like do another one. Like my daughter was like, oh, I'm like, no more Keefer stuff. We're done. Like there's too much. So it was crazy. But yeah, all the brothers were in on it. Everything's happening. Exactly right.
No, that's great.
I wish.
Michelle and I are no stranger to working with your spouse, certainly. But we do have a game that I want to play, and it's related to this. It's called Spousal Superlatives. Hold on.
I never know what the game is, and I never like them. We'll see. Today
that's super fun. Here, you get to be part of it this time. Normally, it's all tension between Michelle and me, but now I get to get you guys in trouble. All right. So be alive for the time being, because this game could get you killed when you go home. It is a matching game. Okay, Zach is going to write his answer down on the whiteboard and reveal it after Chris has answered verbally. Got it?
Oh, okay.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
He's gonna get in
You're
trouble.
gonna be
Okay, here we go.
It's a visual game. I apologize for anybody who's just listening to the audio. I encourage you to watch the YouTube.
I'll say it out loud after.
All right. So here's how it works. I give you the superlative, and you tell me who it's more true of. You have to write this down, Kate or Katie. Ready? So we'll start with most likely to medal. Who is more athletic? Is it Kate or Katie? Yeah. You don't have to write it down, Chris. You can just tell me, and then we'll see if it matches with what. Make sure that the camera can't see what you're writing. All right, Chris, who's more athletic?
So this is a tough one because they're both athletes in their own right. So I'm going to start off with that. I just know that my wife puts me through workouts that I am dying on every single solitary day. So I'm just going to go with Katie on that one. And
Katie, more
nothing
athletic.
against Katie because she is also.
Oh, we do have Katie. It's a match.
Okay.
Outstanding.
Okay.
Poor Kate.
She teaches a lot of fitness classes on a daily basis. So that's what she out-fitnesses the shit out of me. So
that's great.
God,
that's good to hear.
Good honor.
Same page. Good for you guys.
So who is most likely to get raptured? Who is most religious between Kate and Katie?
Who is more religious of the two?
That's a great question, but I think I know the answer.
What do you got, Chris? Who's more religious?
You know, I've never spoke religion with KRG. I've never decided to cross that boundary and ask her religion questions. So I got to go only with what I know, which is my wife and Christianity. So I guess I got to say Katie again, but I don't know KRG's religious background.
What
I'm
do
playing
you
to say
Katie, it is another match.
there we go.
Well done, you two. You really know your wives. All right. How about this? Most likely to hit you back. Who replies to emails or texts quicker? Most likely to hit you back.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Those two are probably the best at that.
But who's the worst between the two of them?
I gotta split that down the middle. Those two fire off emails and things like it's not gonna sit in the inbox long. So
you're going non-binary here?
Can I split? I'm going non-binary on this one. I'm going to split them down the middle.
As long as you guys match.
Yeah.
Well, we're not going to match because I went with Kate.
Kate is quicker,
yeah.
According to
but she and I have more day-to-day comms. So
right. Probably getting back to her really fast.
Good to know that they're both quick on the trigger.
They both are. Yeah, KRG. I know when you send something, I mean, you're going to get a reply. It's coming, and I think sometimes I have to tell KD to stop. Yeah,
you're going to get one.
That's awesome. Okay.
Sometimes I have to tell Katie, like, I didn't mean now. Like, I meant like just in the future. So yeah.
That's so great.
Immediate.
So, who is most likely to know what palm olive tastes like? Who has the filthiest mouth? I know that it's me between Joe and myself.
Oh,
Kate,
man, that's a
Katie.
tough one.
Which one's mouth is
that? Is a tough one.
Doesn't have to be swear words. Could also be hate speech.
Well, Katie's.
I mean, you can go either way with this.
That's not. Kate has no hate speech in her, so Kate has no hate speech. I don't think. I think Katie's dad is a trucker, so that nothing against truckers, but there's a trucker mouth there for sure.
He comes by it honest.
I don't know. I'll go with what I know. I'm going to say Katie because she swears like a trucker. So
I went with Kate because she swears like a trucker.
Kate,
I know. I swear like truckers.
See, there you go. Both of our wives swear like truckers.
I'm gonna like them.
Yeah.
I would filter stuff for my kids for years, and then finally I just gave up. And now it's just like they know I'm mad when some stuff comes out.
I'll throw Michelle's hat in the ring on this one.
For sure, my 8-year-old said to me the other day to Kate, she said, "Oh, I know 5 swear words." And we're like, "Well, which one?" She said, "Well, I'm not going to say them." So she rhymed them. She was like, "I know truck, I know itch, I know hit." Like she just, I know HE double hockey stick. So
that's so smart that she did that with the rhyming.
Impressive repertoire that she's sporting there. All right, how about this? Most likely to get a pitchfork column. Who has the better taste in music?
Oh.
I'm going to say, okay, so I'm going to preface this with Katie is old school. Like Bob Seger is her absolute favorite. And she gets her music from our daughter, but I'm going to say that KRG, because I heard her listen to some Wyatt Flores and some other bands. So I'm going to say KRG on this one.
Boom. I went with Kate as well.
I noticed that Zach started writing very quickly on that one.
Her superpower is music.
Okay.
It really is kind of an amazing thing. Hands down, she knows more about music than almost anybody I know.
That's amazing.
She also has she also knows those music cues and all those edits that she does, and I know that sound is a big thing for her. But and Katie, if Silk was on, she'd be extremely happy. So this is old school Katie, not good, not Chicago rap.
Michelle goes super deep. She'll listen to Ma Rainey for scratchy, noisy sounding 30s blues. It's very weird.
I used to do that when I was little.
Awesome.
I was you used to turn it AM. I don't know why, but I love it.
Did that come from your parents?
No. I think in a past life I must have loved that stuff. But I like most music. There's certain country songs that don't hit right for me, but yeah, I like most music. But yeah, I've taught Joe things, and he came to me. Sorry, just jam bands. That was basically.
So you were like a string cheese incident.
Still love string cheese.
Yeah, still very much love string cheese. He's an Alabama frat boy. Okay, y'all. All right.
Only three more.
Most likely to cry when Bambi's mom dies. Who has the bigger soft spot for animals?
Oh, I'm going to have to say KRG. I'm not going to even wait. I'm just going to say KRG because Katie lives with me, and I think she's over it now. So
fellow hunter. All right.
Kate's
yes.
Kate is quick to tears. She for sure.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Loves the animals. That's good. All right. How about this? Most likely to do time inside a tiny stadium jail. Who is the more passionate / problematic sports fan?
Ooh, sports fan.
This is based on the Eagles Court, which is a tiny jail detention center they have inside the Eagles Stadium.
And this
awesome.
pertains to like also when they're on the sidelines when your kids are playing games too.
Sure.
Yeah. I have a few friends who've been barred.
Okay.
It's fired up about sports. All sports.
So KRG is a hockey mom, so that just kind of throws that into a category.
Oh, right.
Forgot
about that.
And my wife Katie is like a Beverly Goldberg setup going on there with that. So from that TV show, so she's very in the mix.
But if
we
we
were
were going,
sports, I'm going to go with.
If we were going to a stadium, if we were going to go see, pro sports, I got my person pegged for who would end up in sports jail. If you're coupling it with sports parent, that's they're two different people.
That's complicated.
All right, so sports jail going is sports jail. I'm going to go with Katie. She's passionate and she probably have a few tequilas and get into it. So I'm going to go with Katie.
Katie.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, there you go.
Because I'm with you on the sports parent.
Yeah,
she can get a little. She can get a little passionate, but I think if she's going to the stadium, I think Katie's got her pegged.
And it's probably why I'm a good teacher. I never got fired up about sports or like angry at people.
I don't know. We've
like
had some discussions about Alabama Auburn stuff.
Oh, that
Get a little nasty.
Yeah, that's just because I hate you in the fall. Sorry, Auburn, Alabama. Right, our biggest argument to this day was over sports. I was yelling expletives at him before bed.
I meant to give you this.
I
love it.
Okay.
So last question: who is likely to be recognized at your local Taco Bell? I.e., who has the worst diet?
Oh man, that's tough. I'll tell you why. Because one of them is celiac and super healthy. The other is a vegetarian and super healthy.
Okay,
so neither.
No bad diets.
I'm also
celiac. Yeah, I'm going to say right down the middle because the gluten-free, there's like a huge part of our lives, and I know with the vegetarian, vegan. So yeah, I'd say they're both extremely healthy on that front.
Yeah, it's a tie.
Outstanding.
It's a tie. You won.
I like that.
Yeah.
See?
We're on the same page.
Yeah.
They're so, going back to the athleticism. I mean, Katie is an incredible athlete. She's so fit, but like Kate is like it was close on that, and so they both care so much about their nutrition. It's amazing to see it.
That's awesome.
I could learn a thing or two.
I could also learn a thing or two. I'm a celiac, but I did I had a Dairy Queen Blizzard a few nights ago, so it's a balance.
I'm a meatitarian. It's a personal choice. So.
Yeah.
I know, you offer Chris some, Brussels sprouts or tomatoes. He's like, I'm trying to cut back.
Well, if you eat meat, you can't get that at Taco Bell.
No, I just meat.
You guys handled this very well. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
I think you'll be just fine when you go home. And now I feel like we have to interview your wives and get them to play the same game about you. So we'll save that. That'll be chapter 2 of this interview.
Yeah.
But it's so great that you guys were able to join us. I love what you're
Zach.
doing. It's important work. And I really enjoyed learning more about it and look forward to following everything that you do.
Yeah.
No, we appreciate it. Thanks so much for having us. This is awesome.
Sure.
Thanks for having
You're waiting on me to get home from work.
Yeah, so it's exciting. Love what you guys are doing. Thanks for having me on. And Zach, it's been awesome. So you guys are great. Appreciate it. And that Wildlands thing and all of it was amazing. What you were doing up there, Joe, it was fun to watch. You do the commentating there. It was good. So
thank you for being a sponsor at Wildlands. Also great things happening as a result of that. Mm-hmm. So you guys check out gobealive.com and riversourlife.com. and watch all of the wonderful content that's there. A lot of short movies and series and podcasts, and you name it, they got it pretty much. Beautiful stuff.
Check it out.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.